it made me feel inspired and really good. And he was always real nice to me. He'd sit me down, what's going on with you, baby boy? What? We'd talk about comedy, whatever.
And we do have some breaking news to report, and it's extremely sad. Malcolm-Jamal Warner, the actor most famous for his role as Bill Cosby's son, Theodore Huxtable, on the NBC hit sitcom The Cosby Show in the 80s and early 90s, has died.
The mystery around Malcolm Jamal's death is spiraling out of control, and now it's taken a dark turn after Dave Chappelle broke his long silence. Dave's dropping bombshells, claiming Malcolm didn't just drown, he was taken out for refusing to sell his soul.
Bro. What? The actor Malcolm-Jamal Warner has died. First of all, rest in peace to him. He seemed like a very stand-up guy, positive role model. But I looked into this whole thing and it gets weird. First, let's start with the age he died at, which is 54. 5 plus 4 is 9. You guys know about my 9 videos, and 9 is the number of completion. But also, the show that he was famous for, The Cosby Show, in Gematria equals up to 54 as well.
And here's the wild part. Dave says he knows exactly how that feels because he was in the same hot seat years ago. The only reason he's still breathing? He vanished to another continent without even telling his own family where he was hiding. Back then, folks clowned him, called him every name in the book, but now it's looking like he was telling the cold, hard truth all along.
Then let's go to the date he actually died on, which is July 20th, which is the 201st day of the year. Yeah, can anybody tell me why The Cosby Show ran for a total of 8 seasons, equaling 201 episodes? How? In which is the same number as this event 201, which was a simulation of COVID in October of 2019, right before they actually had COVID. Something tells me that we have to watch for this number in future events. Now, speaking of 9 and 201, Ozzy Osbourne has just died as well.
Sadly for Malcolm, he thought a simple no would be enough to walk away. But if Dave and Cat Williams have taught us anything, it's this. You don't turn down selling your soul without them coming for you. About a week ago, Malcolm was in Costa Rica taking a swim, and that's when everything went left. Reports say a powerful current dragged him deep into the ocean.
He just performed his last concert just a couple weeks ago called Back to the Beginning, which is an odd title like they almost knew. But here's the thing. The attendance of that venue is 45,000. 4 plus 5 is 9. Now, you could call that coincidence, but here's the thing. His full name in Gematria is also 201. What are the chances, right?
Another man with him was saved by quick-thinking bystanders, but Malcolm wasn't so lucky. Witnesses fought to bring him back, performing CPR, calling in the Costa Rican Red Cross. But after 45 minutes of trying, they had to declare him gone right there on the scene. TMZ came through with exclusive footage of Malcolm the moment he first touched down in Costa Rica. And from the looks of it, he was all smiles, ready to soak up the sun, make memories, and head back home to his family. But behind the scenes, the powerful people he had refused weren't done with him.
I think I was very fortunate coming out the gate with Cosby, which put me in a position where, and because I've always had a good team around me, I've always been in a position where I've had the luxury of being meticulous about the kind of roles that I choose. My mom was really instrumental in getting me to understand the concept of longevity, the concept of being versatile within this business, because she would always say, if you look at anyone in this business who's had longevity, there are times when they've been hot and times where they've not been hot.
Plenty of folks aren't buying the accidental drowning story for a second, and the whispers are getting louder that this was straight up foul play. The biggest reason people still swear there was a hand in Malcolm's death, just days before that Costa Rica trip, he was trending online for putting the industry on blast. He was spilling some real dark secrets, calling out high-ranking power players who allegedly offered him millions to star in movies and projects that went completely against his morals. In other words, they wanted him to trade everything he stood for, to sell his soul for a fat payday. But Malcolm made it clear he wasn't with it, and he turned them down cold.
You have to decide what you're going to do during those times when you're not hot, so you're not making desperate acting choices. I've been fortunate enough to I've always had the financial wherewithal to be meticulous about the kind of work that I do. So I have a body of work that I will never have to be embarrassed by There may be some work I might be embarrassed because I might have been whack, but I don't. There's nothing in my body of work that I'll ever have to be embarrassed in that I misrepresented my people or I have continued to perpetuate stereotypes of our people. I've been very fortunate to be able to, pick and choose. I've never had to take a role that I felt would compromise my soul.
What's even wilder is Malcolm wasn't the only celeb recently admitting they'd been approached with that same sell your soul offer. That's why people's suspicions about his death shot through the roof. Chloe Bailey also went live not long ago and revealed she'd been given a similar deal, promising her a massive career boost in exchange for crossing a line she wasn't willing to cross.
Did you see Sinners? Yes, I saw Sinners. It was phenomenal. I absolutely freaking loved it. Can I be honest? After Sinners, I cried. Do you want to know why I cried? Yes or no? Or you're just like, Chloe, you cried because you're a crybaby. Just tell me. Okay, so I think anyone who... It just reminds you so much of the industry, right? And it's like, you could have a gift like he did with his guitar. And like they said, when he's singing, he's honoring his ancestors and uplifting and all of that, but then it also attracts the not good.
She dropped this bombshell after a fan asked if she'd seen Sinners and Saints. And let's just say, what she hinted at had people talking nonstop. When this whole situation blew up, people instantly started bringing up Dave Chappelle, because Malcolm and Chloe's stories are basically Dave Chappelle 2.0. The only difference, Dave lived long enough to tell his side.
So it's like, in order for him to be successful, the vampires were telling him he has to sell out so that he could be, that he could live forever and his music could live forever. And it's exactly like things that I see and go through every day. And that's why I just like broke down crying, because it was showing like the people who decided not to go to the other side, they were in there fighting for their lives. They were in there going through it. While the ones who did give in, they were outside celebrating and having a good time and got things quicker and things like that. So the reason why Sinners resonated with me so much is because it's something that you see every day. And no matter how hard you work, no matter how good of a person that you are, no matter how talented you are, sometimes that's not enough to get you places that you need to be. And that's why Sinners, like, I was crying right after, because I feel like anyone in the industry could really resonate with it.
Even though back then the media dragged him, painted him as crazy, and had him fighting for his dignity in every headline.
And it also showed that what you have to give negativity permission to be inside. And as long as you don't invite it in, you'll be okay and safe. So that's why I really resonated with Sinners. And I thought it was so beautiful. I thought it was done so beautifully. And I'm just really proud of everyone who was a part of it. And I even cried when he was singing in the bar, and you see all the different, the history, all of the ancestors that came before us, that he wouldn't have been there to make music and play his guitar without the ones that came before him. So I feel like anyone who has a gift and has something that they truly, truly love, but feels like it's not coming to them in the time that they want it because they're moving in the right ways where they don't give in, it's harder. And then you have so many things tempting around you, like the vampire. So it was so deep. It was so deep. That's the reason I cried for a whole hour after.
Dave's moment came back in 2006 when he sat down for that unforgettable, tense interview with Oprah Winfrey.
It was completely outside of my frame of reference. I've been in show business since I was 14, and I've heard the stories of what happens, and I've seen these kinds of things play out in front of me.
Okay.
When
you say you heard the stories, what do you mean? What stories?
I mean, you see it before. Look, Mariah Carey made a $100 million deal, and 3 months later, she's all of a sudden mysteriously crazy. Or Martin Lawrence punches through and he's waving a gun on the street screaming, "They're trying to kill me."
Yeah, we hear those stories.
And it always happens around the time of their career where it seems as though they're crossing over the next plateau.
Yeah. Would you say you lost your mind, sort of?
No.
No.
Not exactly.
Okay.
I wasn't crazy, but it's incredibly stressful.
Yeah.
And I felt like in a lot of instances, I was deliberately being put through stress.
He had just walked away from a $50 million Comedy Central deal. And according to him, the contract came with shady strings attached that he simply wasn't willing to accept. So he turned it down and disappeared. But as Dave was laying it all out, Oprah kept cutting him off, pushing him to admit he had some kind of mental illness, which he flat out didn't. The wild part? She started pressing that narrative the moment he revealed that certain Hollywood executives had tried to push antipsychotic medication on him.
Malcolm-Jamal Warner's mother is in mourning. Nearly 3 weeks after the Cosby Show alum died in an accidental drowning, his mom, Pamela Warner, shares a heartbreaking statement about his passing. Writing on Instagram August 8th, "Needless to say, our hearts are heavy with the loss of Malcolm. He was a kind, loving man with a huge heart for humanity. He wanted all to be aware of their inner strength and that they could succeed, accomplish, and transform." She continues, "Malcolm left an indelible mark on the world and on countless hearts, and all who met him, however briefly, were better for the encounter. As his mother, there is so much that I can say. It would fill volumes, but what I will say is that I am so very blessed that he chose me to be his mother." And Pamela ends her message saying, "For those of you who are at a loss, pained by the suddenness of his departure, ache for his presence or just to hear his voice one more time, be comforted that he was at peace and more importantly, he did not suffer." Malcolm was swimming off the coast of Costa Rica July 20th when a current pulled him deeper into the sea, according to local authorities. In a statement shared to People magazine on July 20th, police said, quote, "It was at the moment that they were swept away by the current and their friend managed to get out. However, Mr. Warner was unable to get out and was pulled out by several people on the beach. He received care from Red Cross officials, but was pronounced dead at the scene."
For some quick context, back in 2005, Dave made headlines worldwide when he abruptly walked away from season 3 of the Chappelle Show in the middle of production and vanished to South Africa without warning. No official explanation, just gone. And the second he left, the media went into overdrive, working to tear down his image and paint him as mentally unstable. Tabloids flooded with claims about drug binges and manic episodes while Dave kept denying it all. Still, the smear campaign was relentless and the public ate it up. He fought back countless times, even telling the New York Times, "I'm not crazy. I'm not smoking crack. I'm definitely stressed out. There were things that overwhelmed me, but not in the way that people are saying."
Police say he drowned off the coast of Costa Rica yesterday while vacationing with his family. Warner was born in New Jersey and raised by his mother, who enrolled him in acting school. His role on The Cosby Show earned him an Emmy nomination in 1986.
So it wasn't just about trying to pressure Dave into selling his soul and betraying his own beliefs. The moment he refused, they came at him so aggressively that he fled to another country, fearing for his life. And like I said, Dave's not the only one. Cat Williams faced the same heat, and many believe Malcolm would have been next if he'd made it out alive. Jaguar Wright even claimed that Cat nearly got taken out when armed men stormed his home in the dead of night. Nobody really knows how Cat survived that night, but according to Jaguar, he was so terrified afterward that he started wearing Kevlar to bed.
After The Cosby Show, Warner went on to direct and produce multiple television shows while playing music and writing poetry. Malcolm-Jamal Warner was 54 years old.
And for anyone who doesn't know, Kevlar is bulletproof vest material. Imagine being so on edge you can't even sleep without armor on. If the rumors about Malcolm are true, then Chloe and every other celeb who's ever been offered the sellout deal better move carefully, because these people clearly aren't playing games. And of course, the public had their own takes. One person said, Oprah knew exactly what he was talking about. She looked nervous, scratching her neck, because she knows they're doing sick stuff and she's part of the club. Another person chimed in, "When I heard that, I knew something was off. Too many different versions of the story means somebody's covering something up. We'll see. But I don't buy that he'd take his family there, swim out far, and just leave his daughter alone on the shore. Where was his wife? Sounds way too convenient. And who exactly was that other guy?" Now, I'm curious, what do you think? Was Dave Chappelle really pulling back the curtain on what happened to Malcolm? Or was this truly just a tragic drowning like they claim? Drop your thoughts in the comments, hit that like button, share this with your people, and don't forget to subscribe for the next messy deep dive.